Greetings and welcome to the Contracting Guy. I am the Contracting Guy, and I'm here on location at the foot of the Mackinac Bridge. As you can see behind me is the Mackinac Bridge. I'm on the Lower Peninsula. We're looking at the uh, the Northern Peninsula, or the Upper Peninsula, as people would call it, and it's pretty darn cool. This is also a pretty neat place to go if you want to go and see some really neat things in the Upper Peninsula. Those of us who are down here in the Lower Peninsula have been referred to as trolls because we are underneath the bridge, and the people who are north of the bridge are called Yoopers because they're in the Upper Peninsula. Yooper. Okay, that was fun. Let's talk about something that is near and dear to our hearts. I received a message from a veteran who asks the following question. He says, "Hey, contracting guy, my name is Nicholas, and I'm from Minot, North Dakota, and I have a question. In earlier episodes, you spoke of performance risk and you spoke of COVID. Can you kind of pull those two together for me?" Well, Nicholas from Minot, I will in just a moment. Well, Nicholas from Minot, you ask an excellent question. I'd like to proceed answering this question by focusing on several key points. Now, when we're looking at performance risk in an emergency situation, we're really looking at a series of trust decisions. The critical point for you is that you have to build trust with the buyer. Now, you're going to be selling whatever, but the buyer needs to trust you. Please know that the government, after an event like this occurs, the government will second guess itself. If it spent money, it's going to say, did we spend money wisely? The GAO is full of second guessers, and so are the leadership in Congress and other places. So they're going to second guess expenditures that are made. So here are some things that you can do to help make it easier for you, but also easier for the government in building trust. So when looking at performance risk, you're looking at building trust. Now, in building trust, here's some ways to be able to handle that. First is have a strong, resilient supply chain. A strong and resilient supply chain will ensure that you have product coming in or the necessary goods coming in. And if there's any break, you can fill that in with some other portion of the supply chain. So your supply chain will have many branches. Second is similar to supply chain, you're going to have to worry about staffing. So if you're providing a service, you're going to have to make sure that your staffing model can handle problems. With COVID, the concern was, well, perhaps, what if my employees or my subcontractor gets sick? Well, the government particularly isn't interested in your problem, and that's your problem. You have to have a resilient supply chain for your staffing. And the same thing goes with your employees. Make sure that you have backups for this. Totally important because it's about trust. I need to know you can deliver on time, on schedule. I need to know that, which then goes to delivery. You need to have a reliable delivery system. So chances are you're going to rely on some other entity to deliver goods or services for you, goods particularly. So the trucking company. Well, that trucking company has to be reliable, and they have to be able to do the things necessary that you want to have done. If you don't, if you don't investigate that, if you don't ensure that they can do what they can do, then you're going to be creating a risky proposition for yourself. And the government will look at this as going, well, why do I do business with them if they're not trustworthy? Trustworthy. So you have to look at not only, let's say, trucking companies, but you also have to look at your subcontractors, your vendors, the suppliers that you have to be able to do this. All important. So your commitments have to be strong, have to be steady. Uh, Also, if this is an aside note, is that if you do subcontract with a company, then you ought to be able to flow down any termination for default or termination for convenience not default, but convenience with the with your supplier or vendor or subcontractor. And the reason is that you want to protect them as well. I mean, that's your supply chain. So be judicious and guard your supply chain. You want to communicate to the government. You want to be able to keep them abreast of what's going on and focus their attention on your results and how you're going to solve their problem. Their meaning the government's problem, not yours. So solving their problem. So communicating helps build trust because now they can rely on what you're saying because they're seeing the actions match up to the words. So that is kind of in a nutshell how things work. Because all in all, a problem in a contract that is not emergent is similar to a product or a problem in a contract that is emergent. But you need to focus on creating a high reliability system that will provide feedback to you, but also feedback to the government so that they understand what's going on and can rely on your work. In the end, you want to have zero or little performance risk. What the government wants to know is that, are you reliable? Do you do what you say you're going to do? And can we stand next to that? In a situation like COVID or fires or floods or hurricanes, when government is opening its pocketbook to solve problems, don't be one of their problems by not providing systems in place to solve minor issues or even major issues. Have protocols, plans, and procedures in place to deal with supply chain concerns and staffing and employee concerns. Always, always, always live up to your commitment. Because in this time of need, when the government needs you the most, this is going to be the time where when the government doesn't need you at all, they might look at you more favorably because of the work that you have done for them in the time of their greatest need. So, Nicholas from Minot, you ask an excellent question. Just think of it this way. You have some control of how the government is going to look at you. Don't squander it. Have protocols, plans, procedures in place, and ensure that your supply chain, both with goods and services, is intact. And then judiciously guard them. This is the Contracting Guy. I'm out. Thank you for watching the Contracting Guy. Please like, subscribe, and share the video. We'd appreciate that. This is the Contracting Guy. I'm out.